We're excited because tomorrow something important happens. Tonight, let me just put it this way. Tonight is State of the Union Eve. Oh, I'm decorating my house and getting all ready. It's going to be wonderful. President Barack Obama, it will be his third State of the Union address. His first really, I mean, he's not really responsible yet. I mean, his first year had only been in office a week, so that speech was technically called an address to Congress. But obviously, this year's State of the Union will be much, much different from the others, really, with the speech. You know, we're going to hear that we've come a long way since the days of hemorrhaging 700,000 jobs a month. But the economy that he inherited is so much worse than he even expected that we're just not where we need to be yet. However, had he not taken the steps that he's taken so far, we'd be losing millions of jobs per month. Yes, it's that bad. But just think how much worse it would be if our beloved leader had not intervened. He'll say that thanks to regulation of the evil financial industry that he put in place, we avoided the greatest of great depressions since Charlemagne. We'll hear that he desperately wants to work with Congress, but evil Republicans who want to poison your children's air and water just won't listen to reason. So he'll do what everyone knows must be done to avoid the biggest economic disaster since Xerxes. And he's going to do it on his own. He has to. He doesn't want to, but he will. And he'll continue to fight for the working class, not the evil, non-working rich monsters supported by the Republicans who sap the very life energy out of the poor and then feed at night on their brains. We've tried their way for far too long. And doing that now, well, it would just lead to the worst economy since Methuselah. So, and here's a little taste of what's coming tomorrow, even more.
I will continue to work with Congress, states, and leaders in the private sector to find ways to move this country forward.
Yes.
But where they can't act or won't act, I will. Because we want the world to know that America is open for business.
Right, so in other words, when they don't agree with me, I'm going to forget the process and, forget that whole Constitution and dictate, careful with that word, dictate his will to the American people, bypassing their duly elected representatives. Now, let's take an honest look at the real State of the Union, shall we? There was a Washington Times op-ed piece, Joseph Curl wrote it, and he noticed that since January 20th, 2009, unlike fellow Democrat Harry Truman, the buck never seems to stop with Barack Obama. It stopped at George W. Bush. That's where it stopped. And Congress stops there. Despite Obama's challenge on July 14, 2009, to give him the responsibility.
I love these folks who help get us in this mess and then suddenly say, well, this is Obama's economy. That's fine. Give it to me.
We did.
My job is to solve problems, not to stand on the sidelines and carp and gripe.
Okay. Then he should stop carping and griping. Because he asked for it, we gave it to him. He has never once accepted the responsibility. Never. Not once. The blame always lies somewhere else. In the beginning, his supporters said, give him a chance, give him time. Okay, we did. Almost 4 years now. Nearly the whole term. How much time should we allow? A second term? Or is that enough? Well, not according to him.
One nice thing about the situation I find myself in is that I will be held accountable. You know, I've got 4 years.
You know quickly how people feel about what's happening.
That's exactly right. And you know, a year from now, I think people are going to see that we're starting to make some progress, but there's still going to be some pain out there. If I don't have this done in 3 years, then there's going to be a one-term proposition.
Uh-oh. So we know that there is zero accountability in this administration. That isn't even arguable. But if we believe, as Truman did, that the buck stops at the top, we must elevate our expectations. And we have to look at where we are. And as Joseph Curl points out, here's the real State of the Union. The unemployment rate when Mr. Obama was elected was at 6.8%. Today, not 6.8%, it is 8.5%. At least that's the official number. In reality, the Financial Times writes, quote, according to the government statistics, if the same number of people were seeking work today as 2007, the jobless rate would be 11%. There are also now fewer payroll jobs in America than there were in 2000, 12 years ago. And now 40% of those jobs are considered low-paying. That's up 10% from when President Reagan took office. Remember, we've heard about that for years and years and years. Oh, they're all McDonald jobs. The number of self-employed has now dropped 2 million to 14.5 million in the last 6 years. But wait a minute. That actually could be the fault of ATMs.
There are some structural issues with our economy where a lot of businesses have learned to become much more efficient with a lot fewer workers. You see it when you go to a bank and you use an ATM. You don't go to a bank teller. Or you go to the airport and you're using a kiosk instead of checking in at the gate. So all these things have created changes in the economy.
I got to write that one down because I never thought of, because the ATM thing, I forgot. By the way, I told you I threw my back out picking up a pencil. This was the pencil. I just want to write down ATMs and then remind myself here that I believe ATMs came out in 1971. So we'll have to look back at that evil Nixon administration, because I think that's when the ATM thing started. And it's been joblessness ever since. Now, Curl's op-ed ends up like this. Regular gasoline per gallon cost $1.68 in January 2009. Today, it's $3.39. That's a 102% increase in the last 3 years. By the way, if you're keeping score at home, gas prices also went up 20% during George W. Bush's presidency. But of course, now they're just economic headwinds from Europe. That's what's slowing us down. And electricity bills have also skyrocketed, with households now paying a record of $1,420 annually on average. That's only up $300. But now, this is very good news for Obama, because this is a campaign promise that he has actually fulfilled. Watch.
Under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket.
And he did it without cap and trade. He accomplished it through simple regulation. Some 48% of all Americans, 146.4 million Americans, are now considered by the Census Bureau either as low income or living in poverty. That's up 4 million people since when Mr. Obama took office. 57% of all children in America now live in such homes. Since December 2008, 1 month before Mr. Obama took office, food stamps have increased 46%. Total spending has more than doubled in 4 years to a record high of $75 billion. In 2011, more than 46 million people, about 1 in 7 Americans, got food stamps. That's 14 million more than when Mr. Obama took office. Median household income has dropped nearly 7% in the last 6 years, taking into account inflation. That obviously includes the last couple of years of George Bush, but the trend has not reversed or slowed down. On the macro side, America's annual budget has jumped to $3.8 trillion. And yet the United States brings in only about $2.1 trillion in revenue. The U.S. trade deficit for 2011 was $558 billion. Is that still Bush's fault? America's total public debt stands at $15.23 trillion. Put it into perspective. In January 2009, the debt was $10 trillion. That's nearly $5 trillion in 3 short years. A debt that Bush didn't even rack up in 8 years. Mr. Obama is now on pace to borrow $6.2 trillion in one term, over half of what the national debt was when he started. More debt than was amassed by all presidents from Washington all the way through Bill Clinton combined. The debt is rising by $4.2 billion every single day. $175 million per hour, $3 million per minute. This is the true state of the union. And the Washington Times article doesn't even include what has happened with our allies since Obama took office. Is our relationship with Great Britain better or worse since President Obama took over? How about our relationship with Israel? Do our enemies now consider us friends or foes? Do our enemies have a problem with us? Or are they afraid of us? No human being would ever accept these excuses. Oh yeah, I know it's really, really bad, but it could get worse. If your teenage son, who is constantly in trouble and irresponsible, took the keys to your car, you gave them to him because you were stupid for a second, and that car had a dent in the front fender, but when he pulls out of the driveway, he leaves, and the car comes back home with the back of the car smashed in half, and it's sitting on a flatbed truck. It's completely totaled. But your son says to you, yeah, I did it. I mean, it was my fault, but look, it looks bad, but it could be worse. I could be dead. That may give me some temporary satisfaction. I mean, for a fraction of a second before I think about killing my son. But I still look for the cause of the wreck. And I definitely don't let him drive the car anymore. Right? Is it just me? Does that work for you? Or do you let him drive again? I say we don't let Barack Obama behind the wheel of a car again. He took the country out for a spin for 4 years. He has slammed it into every bridge abutment. Every bridge abutment that's been built since Genghis Khan. The State of the Union sucks. But all we need is a new driver.